Welcome to the Metaverse Brands Podcast, a podcast about how brands are integrating marketing strategies into the metaverse. Join me, Stephen DiPianco, as I interview innovative pioneers behind some of the metaverse's biggest and best brand activations. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Metaverse Brands Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen DiPianco. I'm excited to welcome our first guest to the show, Erik from Karta. We have a great conversation about the brand that they worked with, Sunsilk from Unilever, bringing that brand into the Roblox platform. I'm so thrilled to have such a strong guest to kick things off on this program and really break down how brands can activate in this new metaverse space, specifically in this case on Roblox, and the challenges and the work that needs to be done to bring that to reality. So excited to share it with you. Here we go. All right, welcome to my guest, Erik Londré. Close?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Erik Londré.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, Erik.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. Excited to dig in to learn more about your company, Karta, and the work that you've done with brands, especially Sunsilk. First off, what does Karta do? Tell us about Karta.
So Karta is a company that makes brands playable, I guess is the tagline, and that's what we do. We help brands enter the metaverse and activate and create awesome experiences and connect with the audiences that inhabit virtual worlds like Roblox, Fortnite, the Sandbox, Decentraland, etc.
Great. And so for you, I know this company is I think you started in 2021. What made you decide to start building games for brands and starting this company?
Between sort of 2016 and 2021, before starting Karta, I was creating real world experiential marketing for Fnatic, but also for the partners of Fnatic like BMW and AMD, Jack Links, etc. And so then the pandemic hits, right? And if you have, all our lives changed, and I had events in my title, so I had to figure out what I could do, and I started looking at virtual experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we can do, and we had dabbled a little bit at Fnatic in it, and basically the big sort of moment came to me when I realized what Epic Games were doing first and foremost, like with Fortnite, how they're basically changing their business model and turning this massively popular game into a platform. And because we had this idea to create these these Fortnite maps for a campaign with Lavazza. Lavazza it's a massive Italian coffee brand. If I don't think they're that big in America, so if there's an American listeners, they might not know. But it's a huge coffee brand, and basically, I didn't think we would be allowed to put logos in a custom Fortnite map, but then when I asked the creators and they asked Epic, can we put logos inside of our Fortnite map? And they were like, yeah, if you own the IP, you can do that. And I think that was the moment, because then I realized, like, the Fortnite, and it's one of the most popular games and cultural phenomenons on the planet.
Yeah.
And if brands can be inside of that world, I think every brand who wants to target a young audience wants to be there. And that's when I sort of knew I had to quit my job and start Karta, because it was, sort of everything that I'd been doing before, which is, making people have fun, communicating brands, their products through experiences,
right,
and marketing to gamers. It was just everything, and it was just so exciting. And then I sort of, then on to Roblox, and I sort of saw that had Roblox as a platform had come even further, right? Where brands and artists and athletes and football clubs, etc., can create branded products and sell, and you can create all kinds of weird and wonderful, experiences.
So tell us, what did you make with Unilever? What did you make with Sunsilk? What can people experience in the metaverse?
Yeah, so we created a Roblox experience for Sunsilk that is now, I dare to say, one of the top most successful brand experiences on the platform. It has now over, I think we just passed 30 million visits. And I think it's, I don't know exactly how many are unique, maybe half, something like that. But, it has beaten many of the world's most popular brands experiences, which we're very proud of. As a marketeer, I think a lot of, if there's marketeers out there listening, beating Nike was a big sort of big moment for me personally in terms of visits. Which is the best experience? I guess it's a sort of eye of the, like, can't be defined, but that was a big one. And yeah, it's also very highly rated in the community. It has had 89% upvotes, which is super high. So extremely proud of that, the work we've done there, and it was an amazing start for our company.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that early success, and beating Nike. I'm sure Nike has very deep pockets and has gotten a lot of attention, and it's really exciting to see companies like yours helping brands just like really knock it out of the park and do really well. So can you talk about what it looked like to engage with Sunsilk? Like, how did this start? How did this whole process start with them?
So basically, it started how it often starts with brands is that they want to do something in the metaverse in gaming, and they need, then we sort of figure out where we should do it first, like based on the audience that they're trying to reach, what market, etc. And so for Sunsilk, their focus is sort of young women and girls, and Roblox has almost a 50-50 split between the genders.
Right.
It's also massively popular in many of the markets that the brand is active in. So like Latin America and Southeast Asia, and Sunsilk was actually, the campaign itself was launched in Mexico as a focus.
Okay.
But it's hard to keep things local on Roblox. It sort of goes viral, and then you have the whole world playing. But yeah, so we started. It was a long process figuring out what to do, because obviously this was the first time they were entering this space, and for the brand, it was really important to sort of bring the purpose of the brand to life, which is, it's a message of empowerment and for young women and all of the. And it's something that's really exciting with this medium, that you can turn, a brand message and turn it into literally something you can play, right? That's all.
And that's so impressive to me, because when I look at other brands that have been successful on Roblox, whether we're talking about Stranger Things or Sonic the Hedgehog, some of these existing brands, they come from entertainment, they come from video games, and so they already have characters. They already have whole virtual worlds, or worlds that they can turn into virtual worlds. They have costumes and all of these stories. And so, tell us how you started. Like, what was that process of translating that brand and their story into a 3D gaming experience?
I think all brands have a story if you look deep enough, right? And you try to try to understand what they're trying to do and where they come from. And that's part of my work. I always love that sort of research process, and scouring through websites and old ads and stuff like this. And I think so there was something. It wasn't like you have to invent from nothing, because I think there was a lot of beautiful colors to work with, a lot of vibrance, and Sunsilk is obviously like active in a lot of sunny, warm places like Mexico, as which and we took a lot of inspiration from that. But you're right, you don't have the same amount of characters that other brands might have, or cool factor. But I think that's what's super exciting about this new opportunity, is that like I do think brands who you can provide more value than others, and then you will win, even though you're not as cool or as established as another brand, because this is a new world. And I think also young people are just like, they don't, a lot of, Roblox demographics is, between sort of 7 up to 18 type range. But they, on that note, it's like the majority is over 13 now, is the latest sort of age demographics. But basically, provide the most value, and you will get a lot of, value back. And I think you also have seen that with another successful activation that we didn't do, which was Alo Yoga, which basically was very focused on really treating the the Roblox audience as adults, because it was all about like learn how to do yoga, meditation, and breathing exercises,
Right.
And that landed super well with the Roblox community. And I think that's also like potentially what I see what the things that don't land so well with the Roblox community are things that are childish in a sense, that are like, oh, this is a platform for kids, let's do something for the kids,
right.
And so I think that's a sort of general advice if you're thinking about this, like treat these young people with as thinking young adults and not as like little children.
Yeah, no, and I love that you brought up Elo Yoga's experience. I discovered that one, and when I did, I was very blown away by how different it felt from other experiences on Roblox. And it's come up repeatedly when I talk to people who are in the space. Everybody knows about Alo Yoga. I spoke to Manuel Bronstein, the chief product officer of Roblox, and he said, yeah, I think they're one of the most innovative experiences on the platform. Really, they're leveraging video, they're leveraging audio. I mean, who thinks about that? Leveraging audio. It's like, so it seems simple, but in the space, it's so advanced. And so how did you think about like what the game format would be, what the experience was? How do you create this? Because again, it's like a blank canvas. You can do anything you want on Roblox for the most part, but how do you think about like, oh, how are we providing different levels or loops so that people will want to come back, that they'll want to spend time in our experience with our brand?
Yeah, I mean, there's no sort of a simple answer to that, and there's no like, I think one size fit all solution. It's sort of well, this is the hard stuff, and where the sort of, I think things just work or things don't work. But the strategy we had was sort of to try to create a very beautiful world, a very diverse world where you can just explore and hang out as well. So it's quite a big world compared to a lot of other brand experiences, with a lot of detail, a lot of fun, just hanging out type of experiences. And then we created a very advanced hair customization tool, which is self-expression and identity is super big on Roblox. I think I saw that 1 in 5 Roblox players change their avatars every time they play. So just providing these like customization tools for their hair, which is also a big thing in Roblox hair, and Sunsilk is a shampoo brand, so it made sense. And then we had 4 different mini games that provided different type of gameplay, and also it was sort of themed around empowerment and following your dreams and going after your dream career, which is something that's it's important to the brand. So I think that's how you should go about it, is trying to sort of look for what you want to communicate and align your, like find things that connect with each other, right? If a message combined with gameplay, and try to, this is the fun bit, the creative bit, right?
So what I'm hearing is you have Sunsilk. It's a shampoo brand. It deals with hair. On Roblox, self-expression is very popular, and so is hair. And I've noticed that myself. I've been looking a lot at UGC designers and items that they're creating and selling in the avatar shop, and hair comes up repeatedly. And I believe that 1 in 5 stat about Roblox users changing their appearance on a daily basis, it's primarily with the avatar itself, like how they look, not necessarily. I think the clothing they wear is sort of secondary to their actual appearance. So it's like you were able to find this sort of like have this Venn diagram between like, hey, here's the brand, here's the Roblox community, where do they overlap? And it's like, oh, it's hair. It's like hair. That's such a great way to like focus there on where the overlap is. Does that sound right?
I think that sounds right, and I think you explained it really well on like how to work strategically with creative ideas. Is like look for that overlap, right, and try to make something fun with it, and that provides value to the players, and then you're gonna win.
What's been some of the lessons, the takeaways since you've launched, since you've had the success?
What we've seen is that hair is a massive thing that literally that is the activity that most of our players have done is customizing their hair. That's another fun thing with working with games as a marketing platform or tool or channel or whatever we want to call it, is that we can measure every single behavior wherever people walk or whatever they do. It's measurable.
Yeah.
Which us people who work in marketing kind of like to measure things these days.
Yes.
I think us slightly older people sort of think when we think about gaming, we think about the sort of direct act of playing a game and competing or whatever. If it's Call of Duty or Mario Kart, it's sort of action-packed experience that is constantly action. And I think gaming is becoming more and more of the social aspect is becoming more and more important, especially on a platform like Roblox. It's you're there to hang out as much as the playing the games and collecting coins or whatever you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she hangs out on Roblox as much as she can. And I guess like as I've started to play more on the platform myself, I've realized like, oh, you can see when your friends are playing, and then you can go join them, meet them in different experiences. And then she's under 13, and there's no sort of voice chat through the platform for her because she's under 13 and it's not fully rolled out to all users yet. But she has another app that she can talk to her friends. And so they're talking and they're hanging out in this space. And I think that's something that also Roblox says themselves. They say, hey, we're not a gaming platform. We're like a next generation social hangout space where you can do all sorts of things, not just gaming. So totally agree. And I think that it's tricky though, right? If you're trying to build a game, an experience for a brand, I think there must be a leap of faith of like, oh, it doesn't have to be just action, action, action all the time that hooks people. There's also room for community and socialization.
100%. And I think also the culture of the platform of Roblox it was for me as well. It was hard to understand the visuals to begin with. Now I love it. I love Roblox aesthetics. I think because you sort of learn the rules of the aesthetic and what is cool, what avatars are cool, what is not cool, what visual worlds are cool, not cool. You sort of learn it, and then you start appreciating it, because that's a lot of complaints. But the same thing goes with the type of gameplay that's popular. And sometimes like it's hard to say that, like, it's hard for, I think, older people to understand that, like, a lot of the most popular games are quite very like, lawnmower simulator, like these sort of or like power, your power washing simulator, like, these sort of mundane task games that could be super popular. So I think a lot of times we actually have this problem when we're talking to clients, where like an idea that they think is like too simple or too direct or too like middle of the road might actually be the right idea, but because like, but no one's going to find that cool or fun. And I'm like, I think the Roblox audience would like this idea, even though it sounds like it's a bit safe, or like, I really would think it would work because it actually connects with the behavior of the platform's users. But yeah, so that's a weird advice to give. Like, don't be afraid to be a bit boring. No, I'm joking. No, but a game concept maybe doesn't have to be so. It doesn't have to break new ground. I think that's not like, it just needs to be fun.
Right, and that's interesting because again, if you're just starting out and you're new to the space, and you don't know what's cool, you don't know what works on the platform, right? It's hard. You might say, oh, I think it should be this, and we want to see this, and that might not be a recipe for success in this space. I sort of think maybe all these companies just need to have a bunch of 10-year-olds, on speed dial, able to jump. Hey, what do you think? Like, do you play this all the time?
Yeah.
And because honestly, right, like that's who ultimately, whether they're 10, whether they're 17, right? It's the players, the community, and that's what Allo Yoga has been able to prove. It's like, you can't just be like Nike and expect to, like, be the number one in the space. You have to really show up in a way that resonates with the audience.
Yeah, 100%. And I've seen that a lot as well, where brands have actually created very good looking games on the platform and experiences that are like, they looked at there's been a lot of work done and a lot of like thinking on the gameplay, but they don't activate those games in a sort of authentic way, and it doesn't connect with the user base. So like a beautiful, great looking, racing game, that's like a Mario Kart-esque experience might resonate way worse than something that you find less exciting. Yeah, it's always about trying to understand the audience and trying to, like, connect with them.
Yeah. So just to sort of wrap up with Sunsilk, and then we're going to I have some sort of speed round questions for you. So to wrap up with Sunsilk, what do you think are sort of the biggest lessons that you learned, and what are you most proud of from that project?
What I'm most proud of, I think, is the amount of sort of, it was a project that I think took a lot of energy and effort from everyone involved, all the developers, the client, everyone was sort of like working extremely hard, being very sort of super very focused on each detail and I think that I'm very proud of, because I think that shines through in the result. And the lesson I learned is that that we can do really cool things on Roblox. I think is a bit, and I think I think the big lesson is that that it's not the one that does the coolest stuff wins. It's not, and I think that is something that every marketeer, every brand, everyone should be excited about, because it's like this is a new medium, this is new platforms. You can you have a bit of a chance to actually reinvent your brand and become a leader with this young audience that is growing up and are gonna get jobs, make a lot of money, So yeah, I think that's the sort of which was an amazing lesson to learn, to be honest. That because we didn't dream of this result. Like, I didn't dream of 30. I was hoping if we would get like a couple of million plays, like 2, 3, I would have been super happy about that.
Congratulations. Very, very cool to see your success. So
thank you.
The next just few questions. I have kind of a speed round. Want to just fire off a few questions at you. Just real, don't think too hard about it, but just what comes to mind. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite metaverse platform?
Roblox.
Favorite metaverse game? Maybe let's say that's not yours, that you haven't created.
That I haven't created. I think, it's like the professional in me says hello yoga, but I'm really a Counter-Strike boomer, which is not a metaverse. Like, Counter-Strike is my game. That's my game.
Okay.
It's not a metaverse game, but that's the game that is in my heart.
Got it. Well, speak from your heart. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then if you could be anyone or anything as your avatar, what would it be?
Anything I mean, I always like foxes, so like maybe some sort of fox character.
Great. What does the fox say? You would then be able to talk and explain that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today at Metaverse Brands. How can people follow you? How can they get in touch? What's the best way to reach you?
So Karta.game is the website. I'm Erik Londré on LinkedIn. I'm sure my name is somewhere in there. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. Always happy to chat. It's been lovely to be on this show. It's an honor to be the first guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. All right, take care. All right, thank you once again to Erik for joining us. What a great conversation. To me, the key takeaway from that conversation was really finding the overlap, that intersection between a brand, its message, and the metaverse platform and the audience that's already there. In the case of Sunsilk, it was really around hair. That was where they're focused on with their product, and where the Roblox platform and users really care about with self-expression. So great job to Erik, his team, and their partners in their successful activation. So that's it for our first episode. If you would like to find out more about me and what I'm up to, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Steven DiPianco. You can also check out my company's website. My company is Metaverse Marcom. Our website is metaversemarcom.io. We help brands, especially entertainment and sports brands, get into the metaverse. So if you'd love to learn more, please do reach out. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. So until then, I'll see you in the metaverse.